She's also known as a senior journalist from the Indonesian news portal Tempo, with more than 13 years of experience under her belt. Mbak Ika, hello, good afternoon.
Hi.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good to see you.
Ika, good to see you. And this has been a very, very important and much discussed topic, not just during the pandemic, but specifically so during the pandemic. So Indonesia's Alliance of Independent Journalists is reportedly working with Google to fight misinformation spreading. Can you please tell us about Google News Initiative and its objective?
Yes, thank you for inviting me for this interview. AJ has been working with Google since 3 years ago. The background of the cooperation at the time, because Indonesia was in a local simultaneous election and ahead of the 2019 legislative and presidential election. We know that Indonesia already has experience of how hoaxes were used in the 2014 presidential election and 2016 Jakarta election. At the time, the media became one of the disseminators of hoaxes and make confusion in the public, because online media only pursued speed and ignore verification. The same trend also occurred in many countries, I think, such as during the 2016 United States election and Brexit cases in the US. But at the time, fact-checking program in America and Europe, but was still foreign in some countries in South Asia. But none of the journalists in Indonesia have the good skill to verify digital content. So Google invited IG to provide like a journalist fact-checking training. We are trying by first draft and Stockful, who already have a fact-checking curricula. So since 2018 until this year, we have trained more than 12,000 people, not only journalists, but also students and university lecturers. And they give training about the fact-checking tools and all the methods to verify the digital content and how we can distribute for the fact-check article to the public.
Interesting.
Yeah, the first objective of this program is to provide journalists with new skill to be able to verify digital content that is developing sophisticatedly as well. For example, today's technology allows someone to change or edit photos, video, and even the appearance of the news on a digital website. Yes, to verify digital content like this, of course, you cannot use conventional journalism. Journalists must understand how to digital tools that can help them to verify whatever content has been changed, fake or not. And secondly, this program is to initiate the emergence of fact-checking unit in the mass media, or to encourage the growth of a civil society group. We see broadly many media after the training have fact-checking unit, or being very glad about how the fact-checking organization grows broadly in some region in Indonesia. After various training by IG and Google, finally, many media in Indonesia have created their own special team and fact-checking channel. And there are currently 6 fact-checking organizations that of the international fact-checking is a global collaboration based in the United States.
Right, Ika, interesting to get the information about your explanation. So this is Ahir speaking. I would like to know about the current situation during this pandemic and this information particularly. How do you see that?
Yes, the pandemic is very with everyone in the world's condition because they do not avoid the COVID-19 virus, but also they face, all the people face the hoax tsunami in social media. So it's very dangerous situation, I think, since years ago. Yeah, because in crisis time, like in health pandemic, this era, I think all the people or the public need more information how about they can to avoid to infected of COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
But if you read or receive a false information about the COVID-19 origin, about the vaccination, it will be people can receive false information from their life.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes the people can be wrong to decision for their family or for their self, how to keep their healthy,
Yeah.
and how the clear information about the vaccine and the benefit for their healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we face how the people refuse the COVID-19 vaccination, and they not believe that COVID-19 pandemic is a serious threat now, because we know that a lot of conspiracy theories
Yes.
yes, to avoid about the viruses is
Yeah. So you're saying that there is this a lot of misinformation, even disinformation, that is, people making information wrong intentionally so that people get it wrong. So probably one of the very important role to be taken is by the digital media or the social media platforms. How do you think is the role of social and digital media can be contributing to the spread of misinformation? Is it going to combat, directly to the ones who made the false news? Or, I've heard about millions of accounts that have been suspended as well because they're spreading wrong information.
Yeah, of course, the social media as they have a main role to a medium spreading of the false information, because a lot of people in Indonesia is access of the information from the social media, and we know that how the algorithm of every social media very supported how the misinformation can spread faster and faster in every time, and not only in Indonesia, and many misinformation also imported from the outside, and then it come to Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so social media platform need to highly obligate to collaborate with journalists in many countries. I think so to keep a war for the misinformation and disinformation. Yeah, but beside the Google News initiative to have good collaborating with journalists in Indonesia and also with some countries, yeah, some social media platform like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube have collaborating with the journalists, help the journalists to training the skill of misinformation skill, and they need to more transparent about the algorithm and how they can to have responsibility to take down or limit it, the distributing if the content is label from the journalist fact checker.
Mbak Ika, so
Yeah.
we have just heard from you. Just to summarize a little bit, what I caught was that this particular program is training the journalists who will be the ones most vetted for the news to be spread, right? So this is the first frontliner to be able to fact check and make sure that the news that they're spreading or reposting are valid. But what can we as viewers or users, listeners, do to avoid or stop the spread of misinformation? What tips would you give for us who are not journalists, who would receive a link to be able to fact check or make sure that these particular news are verified or not fake?
Okay, besides with training the journalists or fact checkers in Indonesia, Aji also give training the public as especially in student and also in the community. The training is about the digital literacy, and they got training about how you can to detect the misinformation with the basic tools from journalist experience, I think. And the important is if you receive viral information, including from WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, please you must give skepticism for this information, because it's the first guide for all of the people, I think. So if you have a skepticism like this, you will to keep the information, not to distribute, not to forward, or not to spreading wider in your social media. So
Right.
please check again and compare with the fact check article from us from the news media mainstream,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's very helpful.
Right.
And recently, some organizations have some chatbot on WhatsApp and also on media, social media accounts to distribute what the information is hoaxes or not in every. So you can access our result article.
Right. So thank you very much, Mbak Ika, for your insightful explanation. We can resume your explanation when we discuss and when you explain about how we for the non-journalists we can apply the principle of journalists being skeptic,
Skeptical.
skeptical for the first time when we use the social media in any platform of social media. Right. Thank you very much, Mbak Ika, for your explanation. Stay safe and healthy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mbak Ika.
Yes.
Wow. Well, I mean, we have to be smart ourselves in order
Yeah.
to get valid information, verified information. So don't trust it right away. You have to do the fact check first. You know, there are a lot of tips actually that you could actually Google as well. Whether you have to check the dates, whether there's a label of 6 hurricane on that specific news that you're reading, so that you know, or you can actually sense whether it's fake news or false news, or is it actually verified.
Or, news outlet? Is it a trustable
Yeah.
one? And that's also very, very important. And I think one thing that she mentions that is so important, fact checking, not only for the journalists who are about to.
For everybody.
For everybody. I think it's very important that, you know, skepticism is the first line of defense, a filter.
And mine as well.
Analytical questioning.
Yeah, and don't just spread news if you don't know whether it's actually a good news or verified news or not. Now, whether it is about the presidential election, climate change, vaccines, or COVID-19 variants, misinformation remains rampant on social media. Researchers had discovered that false rumors really do travel faster than your fingers, and further than truth. However, we can protect ourselves against it with fact-checking. Here's how.